Hello everybody and welcome to another tutorial because 3 years ago it was something.
Fuck off, you son of a bitch.
Whether you like it or not, however, it means a lot to me. It's a lesson to learn, not just for me but for you guys as well. Like, you know, I learned my ways ever since that happened. Do not overreact. Anyways, before we move on, I just want to show you a little bit about how to become good at just tower defense, not just on Roblox, but any TD in general, you know. Anyways, let's move on to the basic theory first. Feel free to skip to certain points if you want to skip. First of all, tower defense is a subgenre of a strategy game where you place down towers to stop the enemies from entering the base. And ever since then, it evolved. Went from this simple PvE into one of those sweaty competitive matches where you just overcommit sending like 50 bosses at once, you know what I mean. As for tower defense itself, has 3 subgenres. The first one being the classic, which is basically the classic tower defense. You place down towers somewhere away from the path. And secondly, there's the base defense, where you set up in a way that your towers and your blocks can just block off the enemies. And third, there's the unit defense that allows to defend your base from the enemy attacks by sending units. And in any tower defense game, whenever you reach a certain point of waves, especially the final wave, there's gonna be a boss. They can be either abusive or just damage sponges. Like, I don't know, damage sponges had to be one of the worst boss archetypes out there. You can agree with me for that, buddy. Get out if you disagree. As for the roster size, it's divided to 3 types. There's the fixed roster, where you have fixed set of towers. You got the scout soldier in a beginner, for example, and then mini gunner on later on, and goes on. The list goes on, with fixed prices obviously, and nothing in between. No shenanigans. If you see any shenanigans, it's usually the event exclusive towers, and they're okay to get actually, if you know what you're doing and own a lot of things. And secondly will be the dynamic roster, which is very common if you played gacha TDs. In this case, like you heard All-Star Tower Defense STD, yeah, that thing. Show this clip to your parents and maybe they'll be more than convinced to confiscate your phone. Sorry. And well, the point is, every new update always had new units that are actually somehow way stronger than the older units. As a result, there is this thing called power creeping, where you kinda fell off, if you keep using your old units for whatever reason, strategic reasons. Nuh-uh, not today, say those whales. Yeah, that's kind of problematic in these kinds of gacha TDs, like if people keep playing these things, it's gonna be like, oh, industrial point, like I don't know, everyone's gonna do it. Like, you need to do something to break the loop, or else, I don't know, it's over. Third will be the hybrid, which I might show here in the battle bricks, where you have both the fixed roster you can buy with fixed amount of currency, and there's the gambling from the dynamic section. The thing is, you are given the option to either use the fixed roster for the entire game, or maybe you can use those Uber Rare or something. You know, it's a thing in the Battle Cats, alright? I used to play those things. I used to make a video about those, you know? So I'm very familiar with these kinds of things. Starting the game, you will get 2 starter towers, whatever it is, I don't care. However, it is important to learn what each towers do and how well they perform in the current meta. So make sure to ask around before you spend this hard-earned cash, you know, from these battles. Whether you win it or not, it doesn't matter. So the point is, you have to figure out which tower works for starters in the long run, because you're gonna stick with it for long enough until you got a new tower again. And when you start a match, a game, whatever it is, on any map, whatever, with whatever setup you got, there's usually 3 phases: the early game, the mid game, and the late game. Early on, you either have to set up for economy, or if you can't afford one, or no one else is doing the stalling for you, and you can do early defense anyway. The farm can come like 5 waves later or something. And next up is the mid game, where you have to set up for those mid-tier towers and probably upgrade some the powerful ones if necessary. And then we have to max the economy, and it's usually pretty complicated in this phase though, as there are certain enemies that are very aggressive, especially on harder difficulties here. And for the late game, there's gonna be the final boss. A lot of micro is all the way here, so if you can't do it, then I guess you better learn. That's it. You can sell the economy towers on the final wave and get all the strongest towers to max if you can. It is important to reach the final wave and defeat them with ease, even better. By the way, there's gonna be a gameplay loop. The gameplay loop is that you will have to see either this for long, or you'll see many random differences, I don't know. But the thing is, it's usually about adapting to the gameplay loop and the mechanics. So, before we end it off here, how about I give you the decision to like and subscribe to the video. Like, I have stuck in this cycle for like 4 or 5 years, something, I don't know. Yeah, 5 years. So if you're happy that I make another tutorial video again, then I guess we'll be meeting again. See you all on the other side. Peace out.